mean, I think a really easy trap is reporting and measuring what's easy to collect. So it's common that people just grab the nearest data and outputs, and particularly in the age of digital service delivery and so on, we've never had as much data about engagement and clicks and outputs and so on. And we make the point several times in the chapters that you can never measure everything and report everything. There's limited windows for attention. So I think that's one definite trap, is just assuming because it's easy to measure, it's relevant. And if it's hard to measure, not putting the effort into finding out what's going on.
So, for example, in the case of maybe persuasive messages and that sort of thing, might be to assess, effectiveness by measuring something like reach. So how many people have you distributed it to? How many people have seen it? But you could argue that that's not the best indicator of impact, that perhaps looking at some other outcomes, target audience behavior or reported intentions and those kinds of things might be better aligned to the impact of such a message rather than how many people have seen it. I guess typically at Behaviour Works, we use success measures in a variety of ways and try to measure a lot of different things. But typically we focus on effectiveness and perhaps also measures related to the perceived acceptability of an intervention as well for the target group. So in the chapter, we refer to a few case studies from the health sector and also from the environmental space where we've used a variety of different types of measures.
Another way we're using success measures, is in missions. So we have these cross-agency collaborations aimed at shared challenges that our government partners are interested in. And in the missions, the idea is to agree on an indicator and a challenge which is relevant, but then try and work with people to design bottom-up behaviour change experiments that we think might help achieve those. Part of the value of linking those different layers of success measures is making sure that the whole effort is aligned with those broad impacts and goals. And so being able to relate the behaviour to those broader impacts is very valuable as well. A bit of a, if you will, a hairy dog story you'll hear in evaluation circles is some unintended consequences of foxtail bounties where, at first things looked great. There was lots of tails being put in and lots of money being given out. But when they began to critically assess this, they noticed that some of those tails looked awfully old and moth-bitten and might have come out of op shops, and that some people were actually raiding dumping grounds and so on and putting them back in again. Sometimes when you determine an indicator is an important measure of success, it motivates poor behaviour where people are gaming it.
A key tip is really around the alignment between your measure of your success measure, your measure of interest, and your research question. So what is it that you want to know? Do you want to know whether your intervention worked? Do you want to know how it worked, or when or for whom it worked? Those types of questions will help inform the type of measures that are going to be most relevant and useful for you. I guess another thing is really around feasibility as well. So alignment with the research question, also considering what's going to be feasible for you within your resources, budget available, also your skills within your team. When considering your success measures and considering what's going to be feasible, it's also important to consider ethical aspects of the measures as well.
After you populate the tool that we've included in the chapter, treat that as a bit of a wish list or an ambit claim. Really assess what's the most important question you need to answer for the project and what your resources are to answer it.